Hey guys, so I'm going to go through today a stretch slash exercise you can do for your ankles if you have stiff ankles. So we're going to do this for what's called ankle dorsiflexion, which if we look at our ankle, it's basically moving up like this. You want around 30 degrees of ankle dorsiflexion. A lot of people lack that. So this is a common issue we see with people with ankle foot problems. But if you don't move well in your ankles, it can also be transferred up the chain to the knee, the hip, the low back, and things like that. So what we're going to do is the stretch is essentially just moving the tibia forward on the talus. So it's going to be like this if we looked at that model. If you have a true passive restriction, meaning you just can't get into this position anyway, we'd want you to hold this stretch for 2 minutes to begin with. That's basically the minimum amount of time it's going to take for a stretch to make tissue changes. From there, let's pretend we held that position for 2 minutes. Then we would go into our PAILs rails. So this is just isometric contraction on both sides of the joint. So at end range, we would try to push the foot down 25% of your maximum capacity. You would hold that for 5 seconds, up to 50%, up to 75%, and then 100%. So if I was at 100%, it should be hard. It should be, I'm bracing my core, I have a ton of tension created, and I'm trying to drive my foot through the floor. So I would hold that for 10 seconds, and then I would immediately switch into rails. So then I would think about closing the gap between my tibia and my foot. So I would try to lift my foot up towards my tibia. And again, I would do 25, 50, 75, and 100%. So again, at 100%, it's a hard contraction. If I were to show you this with the model, essentially we're getting to end range. And what can restrict end range can be a couple different things. It can be tissue on the backside of the joint, like your calves, okay? Or it can be an actual issue with movement in the joints in your foot. So there's a couple different things. What we're doing is we're taking it to end range, and then we're activating the muscles on the backside of the joint. Okay, so we're teaching your brain to activate those tissues at end range, which is incredibly important if you want to avoid injury. And then we're taking the opposite, the regressive tissues, and we're trying to lift up and close this gap and get as much range as possible. So that's essentially how we do ankle dorsiflexion PAILs rails. It's one of my favorite exercises for actually clearing up some range of motion, but also making lasting changes in the tissue. If you have an ankle issue or any issues at all, feel free to give the clinic a call, 701-838-0090. Have a great day.